Hey guys, Roach Rotator here, and today we're taking a look at the early MiG-21s, the F-13, the PFM, and the Chinese J-7II. And, these planes aren't in a great spot right now. Ever since they moved down the F-104A and C, this area has been in a rather awkward spot, from going from great subsonic dogfighters with no countermeasures to supersonics with potentially undodgeable missiles. And unfortunately, the early MiG-21s don't fare all that well against either matchup. They're supersonic, but only barely so, maybe hitting Mach 1.3 on the deck if you're flying in a straight line for long enough. But most of the time, you'll probably just be below Mach 1 because every single time you turn, you bleed an immense amount of speed, one of the MiG-21's key characteristics. It does pull good AOA even at high speeds, but the poor energy retention means you run out of speed very quickly in turns, making you a very easy target. And for all the AOA you pull, your turn circle is actually not that great. So it's actually in a really similar situation to the SAW that we previously covered, and while the MiG-21 does accelerate much better, and has a slightly better energy retention, it actually has a wider turn circle, and your guns and missiles are much worse, making it much harder to kill anything with. The F-13 rather infamously only has one gun with 60 rounds of ammo, that have lower velocity than DEFA's at around 780 meters per second, so yeah, this thing is not great. As a quick comparison between the different variants, the F-13 is the lightest, then the J-7II, then the PFM, so there will be marginal differences between the flight performance, but it doesn't really impact the gameplay that much. Their firepower is where they differ the most, with the F-13 getting one 30mm with 60 rounds, the J-7 getting two 30mm with 60 rounds each, and the PFM getting a Gush 23 with 200 rounds as becomes standard in all of the later MiG-21s. So purely from firepower, I would say that the PFM and the J-7 are just straight up upgrades from the F-13, even if their performance is marginally worse. So to play this thing, you basically want to avoid turning and bleeding speed as much as possible at the start of the match, because if you find yourself slow below 800 kph, it'll take time for you to accelerate back up, making you an easy target. Look for slow targets engaged in furballs and try to third-party them, then use your speed to escape if you're unsuccessful. It's difficult to get kills, especially in the F-13, since their guns have limited ammo, so you'd ideally want to target someone, get on their 6, get them slow, then wait for the right chance to fire your guns with high efficiency. But if you're going fast and the enemy is also going fast, this makes it difficult to find an opening. One specific scenario where this plane does do well is when you manage to get close on the 6 of an enemy that is also low on energy, and you can very easily stay behind them thanks to your low energy retention in turns. Going slow yourself does also make you vulnerable, so ideally there is nobody around you to third party. But in a pure 1v1, this plane is capable of getting into this position. You do catch up to a fair few number of enemies, and you're also pretty good at forcing overshoots with your good high speed pull and low retention, so if the enemy is willing to lower throttle to stay on your 6, then you can get some fun dogfights by managing your speed to bleed just enough to force the overshoot, but not bleed so much that you're completely out of energy. A smart enemy will probably know what you're trying to do, and so just keep their speed up and continue going away, or decide to turn it into an energy or raid fight, which can be pretty hard to follow. But a lot of times you can get away with it as long as you're not fighting something that both pulls harder than you and has better energy than you. Cough cough, F-106. Both Downtiers and Uptiers present their own challenges. In Downtiers, you will outrun a lot of your enemies, but the enemies are also usually in good dogfighters, like the Sabres or the MiG-17s, so it takes a lot of effort to just find a good window to come in for a shot. Even if you do end up in a 1v1, there is no guarantee that you'll win due to your poor retention, so at this BR it's usually about leveraging your higher top speed, trying not to die in the early game, and taking advantage of slow enemies that could potentially be easy targets. In Uptiers, you're more likely to encounter planes that have similarly poor retention like the T2 or Harriers, or other planes that generally aren't that great in an extended raid fight, but they will overall be faster and will be carrying more potent missiles. So it's important that you avoid the early game entirely if you run into enemies like Ayits, F-8Us, J-35XS, Mirages, and other missile carriers that completely outclass you. I'd say that the ideal matchup for this plane is 9.3 to maybe 10.0, since a lot of planes at this BR behave somewhat similarly to you, so you can actually win a dogfight against them. And you can fairly easily avoid the missiles as long as you just ignore the early game, since a lot of planes at this BR only carry 1 or 2 potent missiles. At 9.0 and below, there are a lot of really good dogfighters with good energy retention, which makes it kind of difficult for you to get behind them, get them slow. So dogfighting can be quite difficult at this BR. And if you go to 10.3, then you're going to be seeing a lot of planes that do actually have good flight models, good flight performance, and at least 4 good missiles like the F-8Us, J-35XS, and you basically stand no chance against these guys. Overall, this whole BR bracket is one of the messiest in terms of balancing in my opinion. They moved the Su-7 down for no reason. They moved the F-3H down for no reason. Okay, quick rant about the F-3H. The plane was fine at 9.3, it has double your missiles, it has much better guns, and otherwise has a similar playstyle to you. And when I spaded it at 9.3 it was fine, and now it's at 9.0, and while it's not great in an extended dogfight, it's so easy to use in ARB, since it fits the ARB meta really well of just running and gunning and exploiting distracted targets. These MiG-21s are also at the same BR as the F-100s and the F-106. The F-100 is just an overall really comfortable plane to use. It's not the best in a dogfight again, but has really good guns. Plus 4 AIM-9Es is actually really nice for 9.3. And the F-106 is basically just you, but better on every single metric. Better energy, better pull, better turn, better speed, better gun, arguably better missiles depending on what you think about the AIM-4s. The Saar is not that good of a plane, but I feel like I had a much better time in that thing than the F-13. Now, I had the PFM and J-7 spaded a while ago, but not the F-13, and my god, the experience was painful. The missiles are a tier 3 modification, and with all of the good flight performance mods locked at rank 4, you are in such a tragic state where you can't even ground pound that effectively due to your poor ammo count. And it's still not spaded, and I do not care to spade it, since even after playing it unspaded for like a week and seeing it marginally improve over that time, it still does not feel that good to play. I will say that the PFM, and surprisingly also the J7, was a significant improvement over the F-13. I didn't think that the one extra gun would make that big of a difference, but you're actually able to hit a lot more shots, even if you only get one extra gun with the same amount of ammo. I was a lot more willing to take head-ons and deflection shots, and it actually netted me a lot more kills. The PFM's Gush-23 has a lower velocity but more ammo and higher fire rate, and I'm pretty comfortable with its low velocity, so I had a pretty decent time in it compared to the F-13 as well. It's just a pretty satisfying gun to use once you get the hang of it. Now, the gun by itself doesn't really turn a bad plane into an excellent one, but the J7 and the PFM definitely felt a lot more workable. And you're still going to find yourself into situations where there's really not much you can do. This Harrier has been flying very far off to the side of the map, so I've decided to chase him down. He shouldn't be too hard of a target to deal with, it's just a Harrier. Poor energy retention in turn, so once I'm able to secure myself on his 6, then this shouldn't be too big of an issue. Going up to retain some of my energy in this turn, and then trying to get on back on his 6. Trying to slot as securely behind him as possible so that it's easier to follow him in case he does decide to turn. There's an F-100 in the area as well. That's going to make things a little complicated. I might have to take the head on here, but I'm not able to pull in, so I'm just going to dodge underneath him. The guns on that thing are very dangerous. It has excellent ballistics and velocity, and because it has 4 of them, any shot is very likely to kill. Okay, the Harrier is turning behind me. I do want to keep my speed up because I know that there's that F-100 that's in this area. Okay, and things just got worse. There's an F-105 on my 6 as well, and that thing gets AIM-9Es, which would be pretty easy to dodge if you were in some other plane, but every single time I do go for a dodge, I'm going to bleed a lot of speed, which is going to make my survivability even worse. If it was just one enemy on my 6 here, then I would try to force the overshoot and then get on their 6, but this is 3, maybe 4 enemies behind me right now, and while I can try to dodge multiple missiles here, if that Harrier is able to get close enough to throw an AIM-9G at me, then I could just be toast. So right now I'm trying to manage my turns to be as gentle as possible to minimize the amount of speed that I lose, but also try and force the overshoot. Once he gets close enough, I do a bit of a drastic maneuver. I wasn't quite able to capitalize on the overshoot because I was too distracted by what was behind me. I would try to follow that turn there, but I don't think I'll be able to without bleeding so much speed that the F-100 has an easy shot on me. And now that I'm going below 800 kph, my acceleration is going to be worse. It's going to be much harder to actually dodge these. And now I have to worry about that Harrier that's booking it towards me. If he manages to launch an AIM-9G at me from this range, then I'm cooked, so I need to try and turn in for him so that he can't launch it. And, well, there goes my tail. I found myself in this sort of situation very often. And even if it's just 2 enemies, if they have multiple missiles that are even just AIM-9Bs, then because you're forced to dodge, then you're forced to bleed your speed, and then they can catch you. You can force the overshoot, but then you bleed even more speed and make yourself even more vulnerable to missiles and other enemies. And this plane is just not quite fast enough to escape all the enemies that you would want to be able to. At least not to the same degree that the MF and the SMT are. This is the only full match I'm going to be showing in the F-13. I want to say that I did well in this match, but it was so scuffed, you're just gonna have to watch what happens. I was hoping there was just one F3H here. I saw him ground pounding earlier, so I was hoping that he'd be distracted. But there was an F106 that was higher up. And, well, F106s are just you, but better in every single regard, so this is gonna be an uphill battle, even if it was just a 1v1. I'm hoping that just purely by pulling I can try and get him to overshoot, but this is not a guarantee since that thing also pulls even harder than you. And with that maneuver, I've already bled a lot of speed. The F3H is also coming in, so I need to focus on dodging him first. And also making sure that I don't hit the ground here. And I'm thinking at this point, wow, I'm basically dead now. That F106 is going to get onto my 6 and he's going to be able to shoot me. But just barely, it looks like he wasn't able to pull in here. Maybe I can go for head-on with this F3H, but it's probably going to get me killed since that thing has really good guns. We miss almost all of our shots. I should not be alive right now. Well, but I'm going to die to this F106 anyways. Though it does look like I have some more speed than him at the moment, so I should be able to extend out here for a little bit and then maybe force another overshoot since he seemed to be willing to go for it. Ideally, I want to be going around 900 kph since that's my corner speed. Anything higher, then I'm going to compress. Which is not the worst since this thing still does turn pretty well at high speeds, but I want to maximize my advantages as much as possible. I'm trying to rope him in just a bit closer before I go for it. Okay, let's try and go for the overshoot here. That was really risky. If I had gotten unlucky there and he had good aim, then he probably would have killed me here as well. How am I still alive? What the hell? Okay, but he has stalled out. Maybe I can just drop down on him and get a kill really quickly. I only have 9 rounds of ammo though. Oh, I miss all of my shots. But for some reason, he's just flying straight. I was really confused here for a moment, and I only realized just now that he had written in chat that he had just given up. I'm guessing he ran out of missiles and ammo or something, which is pretty funny considering he ran out much earlier than I did, despite me wasting most of my kit. Anyways, it seems a little wasteful to throw this match away, so I'm going to RTB and see if I can get a bit more work done. As soon as I take off from the airfield, there's an F100 that's in front of me. I'm going to try and go for a shot here, but if he goes for a head-on as well, it's going to be a pretty big risk. I'm not sure if he'll be able to pull in for the shot, but unfortunately I don't lead correctly anyway, so I miss. And here comes an F106 coming in at high speeds. I'm getting deja vu flashbacks to that fight where I had 4 enemies on my 6, and I do not want a repeat of that situation, so I need to separate these guys as much as I can. I know that the AIM-4s don't have a proximity fuse, so I know they're supposedly easy to dodge if you know what you're doing, but I don't exactly know what the best way to do so is. I'm guessing you can just wait till the last second and then pull if you want to minimize the amount of dodging that you actually have to do. F106 is still going to be able to very easily catch me since it outspeeds me by a massive margin. Thankfully, it looks like he's overshot for now. I do need to focus on dodging this F100 since if he has AIM-9Es, then I do have to put a conscious effort into dodging them. And there's also an F3H here. Okay, so this is going to be just a 3v1 here. Luckily, all he does is he nicks my elevator a little bit. That's not the worst thing that could have happened here. Now that the other two are separated, I need to try and get on this F106. I do think he out-accelerates me at most speeds, though. So catching him isn't going to be very easy. He is turning a little bit, so I might be able to get on his 6 here. But yeah, he's just straight faster than me right now. I can't catch up to him. If he flies in a straight line, I might be able to fire a 9B at him. But of course, he very easily dodges it. And he's gonna kill the guy on the airfield, probably. Oh, nope. I guess he just ignored him. Okay, well, if I'm not gonna be able to catch up to him anyways, then I might as well go for somebody else. I don't know where the other two are right now, but I can't catch up to him right now. F3H has just shown up. I'm gonna pull off from the F100 and see if I can get him instead. He's dipping below the hill as well. Hopefully, though, F106 doesn't jump scare me out of nowhere again. The F3H must have just left. I don't see him. I don't know where he went. He must have just gone over this hill and... Oh, here comes the F106. The F86 looks like he's not doing so well right now. I do need to try and protect this MiG-21 that's on the airfield because he is an R13, meaning that he might actually be able to catch up to these other guys and kill him if it comes to it. And I do not want to be stuck in a 1v3 all by myself against superior enemies. Hopefully the 106 is willing to take some sort of a dogfight though, if I am able to get away from the airfield. I'm really hoping that the other two aren't going to show up while I'm in the fight though. So I'm checking my 6, hoping that there's nobody behind me. There's a good chance they are chasing me and they're just not spotted. F106 doesn't look like he's going to turn back, so I'm going to turn a little to the side and see if he wants to come back and bite for the dogfight. I think I lost him actually. He's not spotted anymore. Doing a bit of a gentle spiral climb to see if I can continue gaining more energy. Okay, there he is. And it does look like he's heading towards me, so maybe I can get a dogfight here. I'm not starting quite with as much speed as I'd want to, but I'm not going to be able to outspeed the F106 anyways, so it is inevitable that I'm going to be starting with an energy disadvantage. Doesn't really matter if I'm able to force the overshoot, but, well, we'll see how it goes. Full flaps. I haven't actually dropped throttle yet because I don't want to bleed more speed than I need to. I'm already going 200. But this guy is very easily able to just stick behind me because, well, he does just pull better. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to be able to win this dogfight at this state, so I'm just going to extend and see if I can get away from him. He still has a missile? Okay, that wasn't too hard to dodge. I just need to make sure that I don't hit the ground when I pull up. But that guy is definitely going to be able to chase me down very easily, because he is just faster. But now that I have more speed again, maybe I can force another overshoot. Okay, friendly MiG-21 is also in the fight. He didn't really choose that great of an angle to come in at, but he's here and he's helping. And the F-106 has reversed his turn right in front of me. I could maybe get a shot here, but I can't lead the gun right. And I need to pull off because otherwise I'm just going to hit the ground. Okay, maybe I can get him here, though. Okay, also, Jesus Christ, this guy just came out of nowhere. Unfortunately, I missed those shots as well. Maybe I can get behind him here. Aim-9B out. Is he able to turn for it? Okay, he outturned it. Yeah, well, it was not likely to happen anyways. Looks like the MiG-21S has also brought AIM-9Bs as well, so that one didn't hit as well. F3H is a fair bit slower than us, so I think we should definitely be able to catch it. I have the best climb and peak acceleration at 1000 kph, so if I actually ideally wanted to catch him, then I should be diving here to try and get up to that speed before actually chasing after him. But, I mean, we'll catch him eventually. He can't keep running forever. I do only have 15 rounds of ammo left though, so it's going to be kind of hard to get the shot here. I want to be extra careful. Okay, I panicked a little bit there, but I was just barely able to get him. 2 rounds of ammo left. Whew, okay. F-100 crashes. I guess he ran out of fuel or something, so... Wow, that was a really stupid fight. There was so many instances in which I should have just died, but either the enemies misplayed or they got unlucky, or I don't even know, man. This game was so scuffed. I don't think I'm gonna get a better quote-unquote game in this plane than this, so I'm just gonna stop playing the F-13 here. It's not spaded, but I have all the flight performance and weapons modification, so I don't really care about the bombs. Now on to the J-7II. This is an up tier. There's a J-35D. That's very scary. Hopefully he is not coming after me. F-100, not quite as scary, but still pretty difficult to deal with. Just flying around the side of the map, seeing if I can spot for my teammates while I have some speed. This MiG-21 seems very aggressive. This isn't a full up tier since there are 9.0s in this match, so it must be a German premium variant. I think that means there's a chance that that thing carries R60s, which is not something I want to be in front of. Especially since he's firing them away from like 2 kilometers away, so now that he spent 2 of his missiles away, I'm gonna try and go for a dogfight maybe. He has pretty similar flight performance, so I do want to drop throttle a little bit so that I can force the overshoot. Oh, it's the Russian R-13, so no R-60s. I do get the overshoot. Let's see if I can get the shot. Ooh, very nice. It was an R-13, which means that he's not going to be carrying R-60s, but there was a possibility, so it's good to be safe. Luckily, I wasn't third party during that time because we were pretty far off the side of the map. But let's see if I can go back in and get some work done. 5 minutes later, I was in fact not able to get any work done because all of my teammates killed all the enemies before I could get to them. There are 2 enemies left. There's a Su-17 here who is RTB, and there's an F-104 that's been just annoying, as most F-104s are. I'm chasing this guy back to his airfield, because I mean I haven't really gotten that much done this match, so I don't really care about it too much. Luckily the SPA only fires 1 missile at me, so I'm able to run in and gun this guy down. He's only severed, so there's a good chance that he actually manages to repair since he is on the airfield right now. That would be rather suboptimal, but hey, I made an attempt. He does eventually burn up, which is nice. I don't have to come back in and kill him again. So, well, I don't know where the F-104 is, so I'm turning back in towards the battlefield to see if I can get him. And he decides to show up here. It looks like he's going for the head-on. I mean, all he's really been doing this entire match is doing head-ons, which is why he's been so annoying. I knock out his ailerons. I would have preferred that he died there. He's going to be in a difficult-to-control state, but he's still definitely flyable, so... I tried following him around as he looped around to go for a landing, but... It looks like he's intentionally just dragging me across his airfield. He's not actually going for the landing right now, he's just running away. My 9B isn't able to pull in, and I think it was too close for the proximity defuse anyways, so I end up just dying to the airfield AA. I don't really care, I don't really want to fight this F-104 anyways. Next match, I'm flying off to the side again, and there's an F-117 flying straight through the battlefield. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this before. Usually they just hug the entire edge of the map and then come in for a bombing run at the last second. But if this guy wants to fly straight right in front of me, then I'll take the free kill, I guess. Rather unfortunate for him, I suppose, but unfortunately the game does not have very much sympathy for bombers. Having turned in for this guy has put quite a few enemies on my 6 right now. F-86 is behind me, but I should very comfortably be able to outspeed him in the long run at least. So he'll probably pull off eventually, and I'll be able to go look for somebody else to target. Now, there's a bunch of people above me right now, which is not ideal. I'd prefer them to be on the deck, then have them lose all of their energy so that I can get them while they're slow. So I don't really decide to engage anybody at this point. I'm just going to fly around a little bit and see if I can climb off to the side, maybe, if I do want to target one of them. Maybe potential target here? Okay, I guess not. Maybe this F-100? Man, I got basically nothing done the entire first half of this match. There's a Javelin behind me. I know his missiles don't have that good turn or energy after a turn, so I'm gonna try and keep my turns as light as possible. He's pulled off. F-100 is still here. Maybe I can go for a shot here. Hopefully that Javelin doesn't follow me up here, because I'm gonna be losing some speed up here. F-104 also could have gotten me here. That was not a good spot to be in, but it looks like he didn't target me. I was hoping he was too tunnel vision to notice the 9B, but I think he just dodges accidentally while he was pitching up for the MiG-15. Something is definitely shooting around me, but I can't really be focused on it. I need to keep my speed up. Javelin, Swift, they're all pretty close, but not quite in range to shoot me, so I think I should be safe. F-86 is turning for me, I think. Yeah, these sorts of situations are a little hard to find a good opening for, because if you do go slow, then some other guy is just going to come kill you, so you need to try and keep your speed above 800. I'm thinking maybe I'll just ignore this furball entirely and go after that furball that's closer to our airfield. There seems to be a few more friendlies over there, so it should be a little safer to go slower there. F-100 is very conveniently in front of me, so maybe I can get a 9B shot on him. He's just flying straight. He's not reacting to me at all, so I'm hoping that he's distracted enough. Never mind. That's 2 9Bs down. F9F in front of me. I'm not quite able to pull in for the shot because this plane does start compressing past 900 kph, so I wasn't able to pull nearly as much as I thought I would be able to. I was thinking I might try and drag these guys up from my friendly to be able to shoot a bit easier, but there's also the Swift coming in. I might have to just try and take a head-on here. Okay, that was really risky. Those shots were like right up in my face, but I do manage to survive. My god, there's a lot of enemies around here. This is not going to be easy. F-100 is coming in. Fly beneath him so that he can't get a shot. But he came down from that dive, so he's going to be able to stick behind me. Plus there's a javelin behind him as well, so I'm really hoping that he doesn't have any 9Es that he can sling at me. Friendly F-100 is here to help. He's dragging the F-100 and the F-9 away. And the priority is probably to help this F-100 that just helped me, so I'm gonna try and do a wider turn, see if I can get around and behind. Huh, that F-100 did have a missile left. Looks like he's going to be able to comfortably outrun these guys, so I'm gonna try and do my best to re-engage. Potential good shot here on the javelin. Nope. Hopefully I can kill him here though. I was worried I was gonna over-G there, but I just barely make it. I have 10 rounds of ammo left. I don't know if this is going to be enough to kill anybody, since that is just 5 rounds per gun. Would probably be best to RTB and rearm here. But I do want to push this F9 away. Don't want to take the head on here, so I'm going to try and dodge under him and then back up. It doesn't look like he's following me, so I should be able to get him here. Oh, wait, actually he's pitching up. This is going to be a little close. And I do actually manage to get him with my last 10 rounds. Okay, even though I didn't get that much done at the start of the match, I'm doing much better than any match that I was able to get in the MiG-21F-13, so things are going pretty well right now, actually. After rearming, I find myself on the 6 of this F-100. He's actually going fairly slow right now. And in this situation, the F-100 doesn't really have a good response, especially if I'm actually catching up to him. He could try and force a rate fight or an energy fight, but because I'm starting so firmly on his 6 with more energy, he's trying to force an overshoot here, but I can just very easily lower my throttle, keep turning on his 6, and just hit him out. And the MiG-21 is really good in this specific kind of scenario, but my speed also did drop quite a bit, so if there was an enemy there to try and take advantage of me going slow, then it does become a risk. And right as I'm able to accelerate back to speed, there's an F-3H that's jumping me. I think he's just taken off from his airfield. I'm going to try and take the fight vertical and take a scissors fight with him. The F-3H does fly fairly similarly in terms of the actual playstyle to the MiG-21, but I think overall it just does everything worse. Purely from a flight performance standpoint, it obviously gets better missiles and much better guns, so it is much easier to use an ARB, but in a 1v1 dogfight scenario, I think it doesn't quite have the engine power to sustain a fight like this. Couldn't quite get the keyboard shot there, but maybe I can swing around here. It still seems like I'm firmly on his 6 and he's not quite able to get me to overshoot, so there we go. Pretty efficient, and I still have more than half of my ammo left, plus both missiles. So this plane really does want sort of these low-speed one-circle scissors fights. Unfortunately, you can't really get them very often when you're playing ARB, but in this sort of scenario where there's a bunch of people spread out, it's sort of the late game, there's not that many enemies around and a lot of them are just ground pounding, then it does seem that I can actually get quite a few dogfights like that. Last guy's an F-104C, he's just bombed the base. He is turning directly in front of me, maybe I can get a shot here. Ooh, very luckily he doesn't do very many dodging maneuvers, which makes it pretty easy to shoot him down. Very thankful that he wasn't playing like an annoying rat like that other F-104. But this is probably about as good of a game as I could ever expect in playing the plane like this. Alright, one last match in the MiG-21PFM this time. One thing I forgot is that this thing gets an early MiG-21 radar, which is actually pretty good. You don't really have any radar missiles to use with it, but still pretty neat for spotting. And what it's telling me is that there's somebody in front of me. I think they're a bit above me though. Yep, there he is, it's an F-4C. Could potentially be somebody that I go after, since I do think I might be able to catch up to him, and he's not that great in a dogfight either, so if I do get behind him, then could be a target that I can kill. Just making sure that nobody's following me while I try and go after him. Oh damn, it looks like he got the F-104. I'm not within range for the 9Bs, so hopefully I don't have to take a head-on against his Vulcan. Though the Gush actually does work fairly okay in a head-on as long as you have time to set up, since it has such a high fire rate. And it has been quite a while since I've used the Gush on any plane, but I do remember the MiG-21 SMT is one of my most played planes, so maybe there's hopefully a little bit of muscle memory there. I stopped playing it after Real Shatter got implemented and made the gun absolutely abysmally bad, but I've heard it's much better right now, so hopefully I can actually get some kills with it. The Harrier is of course dangerous, because if he has AIM-9Gs, then he can very easily kill me without any regard, but luckily it looks like he wasn't able to get a shot on me while I was distracted. But I am pretty low on energy right now, I'm very slow. It doesn't look like there are any other enemies around though, so I am able to get away with it. I will be able to catch the Harrier eventually, but I'm not quite able to accelerate as well as him at low speed, so I'm going to try and dip my nose down a little bit, accelerate to 1000 kph, which is my ideal acceleration speed. Okay, I'm definitely catching up to him now. He's also turning because of the Shahak, so I might get a shot here. Alright, that was pretty straightforward. I might have sprayed a little bit too much there, but I wanted to be sure that he'd go down, especially after having missed so many rounds with the 30mm on the other MiG-21s. Looks like it also does good damage. That's good to see. There's an F-35 in front of me. He seems pretty low on energy, so I'm going to try and go after him next. He only has 2 missiles as well, so hopefully he's used both of them already. Though it does look like all of us are going after him right now. I was hoping that he wouldn't notice, but it looks like he was flaring because of the Shahak's missile as well. Potentially easy target here though. Nice, that's 2 easy kills on 2 rear aspect enemies that weren't doing anything against me. I was going to try and go after the F-4C, but it looks like the F-105 is going to be a bigger threat here. I don't think I led that quite right. F-104 coming in for a dive against not me, I guess, right now? Actually, that does look like it's against me. I'm pretty low on energy right now, but I do kind of want to try and kill him. So I'm going to bleed a lot of speed here to try and reverse my turn, get on his 6. Hey, nice. I thought he was going to try and extend away at high speeds, but he must have lowered throttled there. I am low on speed again, so I'm going to try and accelerate before I re-engage. Still have half of my ammo left and 1 missile. The J-35XS is pretty scary since I don't know if I'm actually able to win a dogfight against him. I was hoping that I'd be able to get him while he's distracted, but it looks like he just killed a friendly MiG-21, so I don't know if it's a good idea to try and engage him all by myself. But I guess he is probably going slow right now, so I'll give it an attempt. He's taking the head-on. Let's see if I can get the shot off here. I guess not. He's not turning back for me, so I'm going to try and get back on his 6. The F-105 is coming towards me, though, so I might have to engage him first. I am, again, going fairly slow because of that 1 turn. Okay, looks like the Shahak was saving a missile for him, so he goes down. J-35XS has a lot more energy than I thought he would have. He's managed to climb up for that Q5. So again, I'm going to dive a little bit, get to 1000 kph, and then try and climb up for him. This could be a good shot here. Ooh, I hit. I think maybe I hit one of his control surfaces. He looks like he's still flyable too. Maybe his engine as well. But I should get another shot here. I am kind of low on ammo though, so I do want to make sure that this shot hits. Aw, he was able to kill my friendly before I got the shot. Okay, but that is a very dangerous target dead. I'm gonna try and go after this F-104 now. I really don't like fighting them, but I mean, somebody has to do it. And I don't think the Ayid is going to be able to catch up to him, so... Or, okay, I guess. Other than the J-35XS that's flat spinning, there's 1 enemy left. It's an A7D, and, okay, he just crashed as well. And, somehow I am the sole survivor of this entire match. That was not something I was expecting. I could have sworn there was, like, a bunch of friendlies and a bunch of enemies still alive, but I guess they decided to Sudoku. Anyways, I didn't have too much of a bad time playing the PFM or the J-7II. Maybe it's because I finally got used to the playstyle, but I do think that the improved guns definitely help. Could also be personal bias because I did have to stock grind the F-13 for like a week, and playing that thing stock is absolutely horrible. If you care for your sanity, please do not. Just go play literally any other plane. But that'll be all for now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!